So good evening. Welcome back to Cannon Fodder TV. It's a full house again with some newbies on the channel. But yeah, finally the coach has left the building. Yes, if you haven't heard it already, it's breaking news that Unai Emery has been sacked. Let's get into it. Hi, welcome back to Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. Yeah, breaking news. Unai Emery has finally left the building. He's been kicked out, pushed out, whatever you want to call it. But he's no longer the coach at Arsenal. Joining me on this evening's Easytalk, I've got two newbies and one old face. Well, old face, a fresh face in IG, IG Indian Gooner. IG, how are you, mate?
Oh, it's been a tough week, tough times, but yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Okay, good. And Stan the man. We were on a podcast like a month ago.
That's right. It was on the was it the fan circle?
Was it fan circle?
Or was it no? From here to Dove Square.
There you go. There you go. So welcome on Easytalk.
Thank you.
I've been trying to get you on, but because like people are dying to get onto the Easytalk, Stan, believe it or not.
Well, it's great to finally be here.
Good. I think I may start charging my guests to get onto the Easytalk. Might finally make some money. But that's a story for another day. African Gooner, how are you?
Much better. It's Black Friday and Emery out, so yeah, no, much more positive than yesterday. Last night I ended up going to bed early after the game, obviously because I was just devastated. I just couldn't handle it anymore. And yeah, so today when the news broke out, I was much happier.
Okay, all right, we'll get into that. So like I said, it's the Easytalk, and the familiar faces and subscribers and viewers will know that it happens every Friday at 7 p.m. UK time. It's one of 3 segments on the channel. Mondays we have the fan comments with my host Richard from Arsenal TV. Wednesdays is the voice of reason. Well, I'll get into that. And then we have the Easytalk every Friday with a panel of lovely guests. So let's get into it. So yeah, Unai Emery is gone, and if you don't know, I hate taking sides, but I was Unai Emery in. I think now that everything at Arsenal is going to change. I think we're going to be seeing a coach every 2 seasons, maybe if they're lucky. And I want to get the panel's thoughts. So Stan the man, I know you are relatively happy that Unai Emery has now left. Can you elaborate on your thoughts?
Originally, when he was appointed, I was giving him until this Christmas, but it was probably from the Xhaka incident onwards, I started to get concerns about the manager, not only what was going on in the pitch, but the way that he actually manages and handles the actual players themselves. So over the last few games, you know, I just saw that, you know, he's lost the fans, he'd lost me. I couldn't see any way back for him, to be honest. You know, he'd gone across to the point of no return. And I just feel that if the board were going to do this, they should have done this during the international window that we just had.
So for you, the story that broke the camel's back was the Xhaka incident.
Not just Xhaka, but you know, there seemed to be a lot of incident with not only what's going on the pitch, but there was the handling of the Ozil situation. There was, as the season started, we had the captain of the club, Koscielny, didn't want to go on a tour. You know, it just seems like there seemed to be a lot of unrest with players, and you know, coupled with the performances on the pitch, I just felt that the job was too big for him. So the news broke here. It was last night here in Vancouver. I was falling asleep on the sofa, getting ready for bed. I woke up. It was somewhere between 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and just as I looked at my phone, you know, the news was coming through. So I went to bed and I couldn't actually sleep. I was actually lying there, like, you know, wide awake, looking at the ceiling, thinking, like, wow, what does this mean? You know, moving forward. So I'm really looking forward to the game on Sunday. I wasn't before. I was actually umming and ahhing about getting up early and going down to the pub at 6 o'clock. But I actually have something now to look forward to. I can't wait to see the lineup. I can't wait to see how the players perform, and hopefully there's going to be a feel-good factor around the stadium as well.
Okay. IG, I know you again, I've had you on the podcast quite a few times, and we share a commonality where we've always championed Unai Emery, and your thoughts on the situation.
Well, I think it is what it is. We can't do anything about it. I I've always said whoever is the gaffer, I'm going to back him no matter what. It's Freddie Ljungberg now. It's great to see an Arsenal DNA finally managing Arsenal. It's been a dream for a lot of Arsenal fans, and so it is. It has been for me as well. That one day I would really like to see somebody of Arsenal DNA actually managing Arsenal. So I'm expecting a good honeymoon period, at least a win till the City game. I think the biggest test, whoever is going to be in charge next, if it's going to be Lundberg till the City game, or if we are going to have a new appointment, I don't know. But that City game is definitely going to be a great. It's going to be a great test for whoever is going to come and manage Arsenal. But to me, the whole thing, I think it's very tough, and I'm glad that Emery left. The only reason why I think the only reason why I'm glad is because I think he couldn't take it anymore. I think it was too much for the fans. I think I read a comment where it was written that he's a good person, but I think what it was put up is that I think he was not the right man for the job. I think he was, but I think at one point of time, that if you can take that kind of team to a final of Europa League and you see a bang average performance, though they have performed so well in the whole tournament, but if the final straw was a performance bang average like that, I don't think so. You can get anything more out of those players. So I think he's not got the right amount of players what he was expecting. I think that there were a lot of reasons, but to me it came as a big shock. I thought it could have happened after the Norwich game, but it happened today.
African Good, I've got a question for you. Do you think player power kind of played a part in the whole drama and theatre of Unai Emery's time at Arsenal?
So I think actually that's a great question, and unfortunately, it seems that player power is something in the new modern era of football. We saw it happen under Wenger, and we've seen it happen under lots of managers. And I think basically, when a team realizes that we're in a slump and there's no way out, they kind of throw their toys out of the pram. And I think the only way for them to get change or affect change as players is to stop playing, and that comes in as player power. We see Mesut Ozil, we see Aubameyang not tracking back, being super lazy. We see obviously Lacazette not celebrating when he scores an equalizer in the final minutes, and all these things to me are signs that the players have more power than the manager, and they had basically given up on him, on his tactics, given up faith, just like the fans. And I think that I'm happy that obviously Unai Emery has gone. I heard what IG said, but for me, I don't think that Unai Emery was good enough for Arsenal. I mean, I respect the man, and obviously I want every manager that comes to Arsenal to be successful. But at a certain point, as a fan, you lose hope based on tactics, based on performances, based on press conference comments, based on the board's lack or inability to communicate with the fans. So yes, we want all managers that come to Arsenal to do well, but at a certain point as well, I mean, you have to be realistic, and for the betterment of the club, you can't support things under Unai Emery and how the things were going.
Okay. I want to read a tweet that came out, I think today, actually. I'm not going to mention who the tweet was by, but it goes like this. Freddie, mate, watch your back with these players. You will see their true colours. As you pick your first team, drop one of the players, and then the scales will fall from your eyes. So, Stan, I'm just wondering. So, Freddie Ljungberg is going to be here in the short term until the ball can really sort out a long-term target. What happens after the initial upturn? That's going to happen with Freddie Ljungberg, and then we start to lose some games because we're not going to win all the games of this season. What's going to happen if we start to lose one or two games?
Earlier on today, I was on Sunny TV's podcast, and one of the guests on the panel, Melvin, made a very, very good point that I hadn't thought of. While all of this has been going on over the last few weeks with Emery, and whether players have been downing tools, whether they have been doing impersonations behind his back, mocking him, giggling, Freddie Ljungberg has been standing behind the manager and behind the players, and he must be seeing it. So he knows who in the team has maybe been shirking in training. He's already aware of that. You know, if anyone's not really been pulling their weight training, Freddie knows who they are. If someone's been sort of like, you know, gossiping away, did you hear what he said earlier? I couldn't understand a word of that. Could you? You know, someone just stirring it. You get personalities like that in offices, right? You get it everywhere in the workplace. If you know, Freddie has probably got his ears open and he's already aware of who those people are. Now it's just going to be, how does he handle it? I mean, I saw a tweet earlier that made me chuckle, and they said, can you imagine the Arsenal fan base when they see Freddie's first lineup and he plays 5 at the back and 2 CDMs? And I was like, yeah. But, yeah, there's going to be a honeymoon period. I think looking at the fixtures that we've got coming up, a lot of them are very winnable. If you look at the team that we have, what do we have? We've got Norwich coming up, and then we've got Brighton, and then we've got West Ham. And I think somewhere in between there's a game against, I think it might even be, is it Victoria? In Europa League. Now, I like to think that on paper, we should be able to get, with the squad that we have, something really good out of those games. And if we can do that, and if Freddie's got time to put in a system and keep a system rather than changing it every week, just after the West Ham game, that's when we start having more difficult games, I believe. I think there's like Man City. I think there's Chelsea. So it's in the team's hands. It's in the management's hands. It's some good winnable games coming up to try and build a base so that we've got a little bit of confidence going into these more difficult games. It's going to be interesting.
Actually, I wanted to just say in regards to losing, obviously, guys, we're going to lose a match. We don't expect to win every match. We know that we don't have a squad that's capable of challenging for the title. But I think what we as fans want to see is lose with dignity, right? At least go for the match. Players at least put in 110%. The manager, if we were losing, at least try to change something. Put Pepe on, not in the 81st minute or 83rd minute, but do it at halftime. Things that Emery actually did in his first half of his tenure, which we were all excited for. So yeah, I just wanted to say that we don't expect to win every game, obviously.
IG, just looking now further ahead, I mean, after Freddie Ljungberg has his short, 15 minutes of fame, as it were, which manager do you think long-term Arsenal will be looking to secure for Arsenal?
I think their target would be Pochettino or Allegri. I think. But if you're talking about Pochettino would be a good counter-attacking option. Allegri is a more possession type, but defensively strong team. I don't remember Allegri if he would have won a game which is 5-0, 6-0. He believes in 1-0, 2-0 kind of games. He loves a lot of clean sheets. But I just want somebody who thinks that if the defense is weak, please do not recruit a 32-year-old from a rival club. Rather than go for a long-term defensive prospect, and make sure even if you do, don't let the player be loaned out to the parent club or the previous club. Because if you're talking about right now, if you're talking about, I think your job is currently you got to think about the present, not about the future. Yeah, you got to understand that if you are given this whole season to qualify for the Champions League, if that's your priority, make sure you see your job is at the line. It's not only you. You've got a lot of staff. Everything is on the line. The fans, the hopes, the players, everything is on the line. So I think the whole idea, actually, if I could come in on Stan's point as well, I think he just said that Freddie Ljungberg might know. He's been behind Emery and knowing every point. Every players who may turn back on him. But that's all we fans also know. Well, Ozil posted an image on his official Instagram account stating, "You make me laugh." We know who who was what was that meant? Like who was what it signified. We have seen Emiliano Martinez liking some posts and then coming back to us with that my account got hacked. We know what Aubameyang did, what Aubameyang does on Instagram. As fans, I actually run a YouTube channel wherein I actually cover a lot of Arsenal news. So I'm quite updated about these things as well. You also see Lacazette liking what AFTV do. Well, you also see Aubameyang going and this is not professionalism. I'm sorry, I don't see Cristiano Ronaldo doing that. I don't see Leo Messi do that, and it's something which is personal as well. But see, I know which players are going to turn on their manager. I know that. I know that. But the problem is, does a new manager, is Freddie Ljungberg gonna stand back right at their face? I'm gonna tell them, I'm gonna call all your bullshit. Even if the team is losing, I'm not going to give you a place on that team. You got to earn it. Does he have the guts to say that? That's what I want to see from Freddie Ljungberg.
African Gooner, again, going forward, I mean, which manager do you think ideally or realistically, Arsenal should get in?
Yeah. So, yeah, as I mentioned on Sunny's podcast as well, for me, there's 3 candidates that I would take. 1 is Allegri, 2 is Diego Simeone, and 3 is Pochettino. I've seen that Ballistic in the comment section said that not Pochettino because he's not a winner. But honestly, I think he's a really good manager. The only issue I see with Pochettino is I think because of his loyalties, he wouldn't come to Arsenal. Because obviously, we know that Arsene Wenger wouldn't go to United or Chelsea or any other team, let alone in the Premier League, right? So that in terms of that loyalty, I don't think Pochettino would come. But something I strongly feel is that if our board really wants us to be excited or is wanting us to get back to the heights of the big club that we used to be, challenging for this season, I think Pochettino would be a seriously good move. But yeah, for me, I think in terms of defensively, Allegri or Simeone definitely, because I think over the last 10 years, we have been really weak defensively, right? Under Wenger, even under Emery, we expected it to improve. But I think I want to shape. So, at the moment, I don't care about playing, beautiful, artistic football. I want us to be able to defend, not concede as many shots on goal, and be just winning games. It's a results business, as Kenny Ken says, which is, ideal. If we win 1-0, you're not going to see people on Arsenal Fan TV. And personally, I'm not going to be upset as long as we're winning, for the moment, at least. In, 6-7 months, perhaps, yes, okay, let's start playing better football, one-touch passing, things like that. Then we can start being a bit, more demanding in terms of entertaining football. But at the moment, we are a sinking ship, and all we need to do is stable the ship, get some results, and at least have some hope for the season. Because at the moment, if we lose another 2-3 games, I'm sorry, but top 4, it's gone.
Stan, how far do you go back in supporting Arsenal? Terry Nil, dazed?
I actually looked on. I looked it up on the internet today. I thought, how many managers now is this? And including like caretaker managers, Freddie is now the 11th manager that I've had at Arsenal. The first one, going back to Terry Nil, but I don't obviously I was very young and I don't remember much about him as a manager. But this is the 11th one now.
Yeah.
But looking at who I think would come in. I think it's going to be one of either Allegri or Pochettino, simply based on the fact that those two are gettable. They're not in employment at the moment. I don't see Arsenal doing what I would do, which would be to go to Leicester through the proper channels and ask to formally speak to Brendan Rodgers, because that would be the person that I would love to see come in. He was my pick after Wenger, and when I mentioned that to friends, I got slaughtered for it. What, you want David Brent to come in? But I mean, he's gone up to. I thought he'd done a good job at Liverpool, and he went up to Celtic. And I lived in Edinburgh for about 9 months, and if he was no good up there, the Celtic fans don't suffer fools lightly. They would have run him out of town, and they loved him up there. And he's coming at Leicester now. He's Premier League ready. He hasn't spent hardly any money on that Leicester team. He's gone in there. He's put an arm around Jamie Vardy, who to me was looking like, has he lost a bit of his pace or what? When he was playing under Puyol, he's got him firing again. So that shows me that he's obviously good at handling and bringing the best out of people. I'd love to see him put his arm around Ozil and get him, you know, firing on all cylinders. So that would be the pick for me.
Okay, all right. Anyone's just coming to the Easy Talk on Cannon 40 TV. I've got IG, aka Indian Gooner. Also got Stan the Man, who we've been happy finally to get him onto the channel, and also African Gooner. Make sure you subscribe to the channel on all platforms, share, and also hit the notification button so you can receive all the latest and greatest. Yes, the greatest news right here on Cannon 40 TV. Let's get into the chat. Let's see who's been kind enough to come in, and let's get your opinions. Right, so we've got channel favorite Mube Guno. He says, happy Friday, boys. I wonder why he's saying that. Emery out, isn't he? Oh, anyway. And another one, we've got Balixt 99. The whole debacle reminded me of Terry Neal. Yeah. Do you think it's similar to Terry Neal, Stan?
As I say, I don't really remember too much about the Terry Neal situation. The manager that always comes to mind with me with being a bad fit was Bruce Rioch.
Yeah. And the clash with Ian Wright. I remember the falling out with Ian Wright. Yeah.
He wanted to play Ian Wright on the wing, if I remember rightly.
Yeah, and actually I think he wanted to sell him as well. But yeah.
Ian Wright went and put a transfer request in and that's when I think the board stepped in and said, hold on a minute, this isn't working.
Yeah. Okay. And he goes on to say, hopefully Allegri. Does Allegri speak better English than Unai Emery? Can someone tell me that?
But he's professional enough, guys. I think he'd do a good job in learning and doing it quickly because he's a top class manager. I think he's in one of the elite. So yeah, no, I wouldn't have an issue with that. And actually, I just wanted to point out something. I think it doesn't matter what language you speak. Football tactics is a universal language. So you don't need to speak English to understand something that the manager is saying. And we're Arsenal Football Club. We have enough money to spend on translators, and there are other coaching staff that can explain tactics. I mean, it's with cones and other things. It's not only about words, right? So I don't agree with people saying he doesn't speak great English, and that might be something we looked into.
Well, it's funny you say that because there were some whispers that a lot of the players didn't understand what Unai Emery was trying to explain to them, and it was probably down to the language barrier. And my argument was, like you say, there would have been enough translators out there. You know, you've got French players, you've got Spanish-speaking players, you've got English coaches out there who probably could explain what Unai Emery was trying to do with the players. So all this stuff about there was confusion because they couldn't understand what he was saying. I didn't really believe it, but it's gone now. Anyway. And he goes to say, not Pochettino. He is not a winner, Stan. He's not a winner.
Well, he hasn't won anything, but I'm 50-50 on Pochettino. You know, I mean, there's the banter side of it, but he could have an axe to grind. You know, if he took the job, you know, he could think this could be really like, I'll show you lot across the road. You know, I mean, George Graham went the other way, right?
Yeah.
George Graham left under a bit of a cloud, but he went the other way. For me, whoever comes in, we're at a stage at Arsenal where we've got such great young talented players coming through. It's vital that we have a manager who is specialised in improving players. We can't let these young players like Martinelli just go stagnant. Guendouzi go stagnant. We need a manager who is going to be able to help these young boys grow into young men in the game and understand the game of football, understand their positions, understand their roles, and make them better. And if the next manager can do that, I think that's going to be a bonus. And I think that under Unai Emery, I didn't really see any of that.
So I think. Sorry, IG. Go.
I'm sorry. I would like to comment. If Pochettino is not a winner, he is his team. At least he makes sure that his teams make it to the Champions League.
Yeah. So then I guess by default is Freddie Ljungberg not then the best person because he's worked with the under-21s, hasn't he? So he's in the best position to know the players.
Yeah, if I may pitch in on that, actually, Stan, I agree with you. But at the same time, something that I've mentioned quite frequently is, yes, we want a manager that is able to mold and take in the young talent that we have and be able to grow them. But at the same time, I want instant results right now. I don't want to see like Emery, he put a lot of faith in Saka and a lot of the young players. I want more of, the staple food, the players that are experienced. And yes, in the Europa League and FA Cup, play the young guns. But in the Premier League, we got to go all for it, because I think, if Liverpool, Chelsea and all the Atletico Madrid, if these guys drop from the Champions League into the Europa League, it's going to be tough to win the Europa League this season. So potentially the league might be our only route. So we need to start taking that seriously, for me at least.
So you want to see instant results, African Gooner?
I do. I mean, I'm tired of waiting. I'm out of patience, right? I've only seen 3 managers. I can't believe you've seen 11. I've only seen 3, and I'm already close to jumping off the cliff. But no, seriously, I mean,
don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh, no, I'm joking. But
Well,
if you're so emotionally invested into Arsenal, it hurts. Like, it hurts. It ruins my day. It affects daily life, because we are that passionate about Arsenal, right? That's, we love, we bleed Arsenal. So we just want the best for the club.
IG, you want to say something?
Sure. We talk about player power. I think I'm seeing a lot of fan power as well.
Yeah, probably too much. A little bit too much.
Too much, yeah.
And we've got channel favorite James Rowe. It says, spot on IG. You do not see Ronaldo doing that. Professionalism and earn your place. Okay, yeah.
Didn't James go to the game as well? James is in. I've been watching him on Twitter. He's in the UK now. He's going to Norwich, right? And then,
yeah, he's in Norwich now. Currently, yeah, he just arrived there.
Have a safe journey, James.
Yeah, he's safe. He's safe, and I think he'll be there supporting Arsenal in all rains and weather and all kind of results. But anyway, moving on. Poch at his best. Got Spurs playing well. Dare I say it? But could still not instill the killer edge. 2-0 for me. Okay, a couple more before we go into the next. I agree on Brendan, but for me, Brendan Rodgers, he looks like a man who has unfinished business in the Premier League. Yeah. He was so good at Liverpool, just missed the Premier League there. And I think if they'd given him maybe 2 more seasons, I think Liverpool would have won the Premier League sooner rather than later. But is he realistically going to come over to Arsenal? Would he really come over to Arsenal?
Well, I did hear on the news that he'd released some kind of a statement, and he was saying, like, it was like, I really like the project that we've got going on at Leicester. I'm really looking forward to the future of Leicester. But what else is he going to say?
Well, but I guess if the price is right, would he come over? I don't think so. Okay, Allegri all day long. Was anyone clear here what our play style was, African Gooner? What was our style under Unai Emery?
No, we didn't have a style. We changed styles almost every single week, in my opinion. At first, it was high press, playing out from the back. Then he threw that out the window. Then he realized that we were conceding way too many shots, and he decided to be more defensive, playing 5 at the back. That still didn't work. So no, we didn't have a real identity. I think a comment that I resonate really well with is that Unai Emery wanted our team to be like a chameleon, right? Changing depending on the opponents that we faced. Unfortunately, that's not how it works in the modern age. I don't think any successful manager or team at the moment does that. If you look at Barcelona, Real Madrid, Man City, Liverpool, they basically have almost the same starting 11 and same formation and same playing style throughout the last year or two, which has led to success, right? So no, for me there wasn't a clear playing style.
Okay.
And I just wanted to mention to IG in regards to he was talking about fan power. I'm sorry, but for me, honestly, it has to be instant success because I've waited long enough. I'm not satisfied with an average, mediocre club, and I think a lot of the main problem with fans is that we are okay with mediocrity, like Ty, people like Ty, right? Those are the type of fans that are okay to settle with what we have. for me, I'm ambitious. I want to win something before I die as an Arsenal fan. So for me, it has to be something that is instant, some sort of change, not just being happy with mediocre football. So yeah, in response to what he said.
Ajay, did you want to come back on that?
Well, I completely agree. I think yes, but I think he forgets that I was actually relating to the negativity that's coming to the fan base. I'm a fan of Arsenal. Yes, I have been supporting them since 2005. But what I've seen right now, I think you're gonna. I think people like Ty, fans like Ty, are mocked. They are also being shown the negative aspect of the fans. Well, we are fans. I think everyone have their own opinion. The part of the fan power, I actually read somewhere. I think it was a tweet from DT as well. I think he was asked. I mean, is he happy? He was dang happy today because Emery was sacked, and he was actually feeling proud of the fact that since 1987, I think he's been going to all the home and away games for Arsenal, and it is his right to come out of whatever opinion he comes out at AFTV as well. See, everyone has the right for the. I mean, you're completely justifying the fact that you want a change. I also want a change, but you know that since 2011 we have not made a proper successful buy, except for Rob Holding. At least there are very less amount of players where we bought cheap, and probably we did not make the player's potential, reach the potential, and not even sold him. I think in terms of the management, in terms of the players that came in, I think we've been average since a very long time. So if we were deteriorating for so many years, how do you expect that to change right away? I mean, if you're looking at a striker, okay, if you're looking at a striker, talking about Atletico Madrid, they sold off Griezmann. They took the whole money and they put it on the future, brought Joao Felix. It's I think it's a win-win situation, because you need to understand that, yes, I think, and the problem is that you've got Aubameyang, yes, you've got Ozil there. You had an option wherein you could actually give Ozil a new contract or Ramsey a new contract. You gave Ozil a new contract, you ignored Ramsey, and probably if Wenger would have stayed for another season, maybe he at least, in respect for Wenger, he would have signed a new contract. He was ready for it, but he didn't take it at the last moment because he wanted the same pay scale what Ozil was getting. So these were the management problems which were there at those moment of time. This club was deteriorated part by part, year by year. It is not
So
going to happen. If it's good to expect. I'm sorry if I just wanted to clear this out, because I think I have this in me, that if you believe to see certain changes, it should happen. I also want it to happen. If it's happened, I'll be happy, just like you. But
yeah.
I don't see that happening.
So for me, in
Sam.
response to that, I just wanted to say a couple of things. So in terms of, I agree with a lot of points that you say, but I'm just going to give you a couple of examples. Martinelli, Guendouzi, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, and Iwobi. Those are 4 players that we spent barely any money on, and we ended up making huge profits on. And I agree with you. I think that a lot of fans, in terms of instant success, I don't mean we win something this year. I just want to see improvement. I think we've been so stagnant and deteriorating for 10 years that as a Arsenal fan, when I went through elementary, middle school, high school, I was always made fun of. Even in university, as an Arsenal fan, I was always made fun of because my club never won anything. We were always an embarrassment, and it was always clear to see that Arsenal was weak-minded. I just want to see a change in the culture of the club, and in terms of instant success, I just want to see an impact. A clear impact on the team, on the mindset, whether that's the board, whether that's the players, whether that's the manager. As a fan, I don't really know, right? I'm just assuming that everything comes from the top, because it's the culture at the club for me that needs to change. So that's what I mean by instant success. I don't expect us to win every game. I just want us to see, like we've all played football or soccer at any level, and we understand that even at in the Sunday league, you put in 110%. There's certain things that are common sense. Don't foul, don't get yellow cards. Watch the offside trap. If you're in the corner, kick it off the player so it goes in for a throw-in and keep possession. Just small basics that we seem to not have for a very long time. I want to see those things change, because as a fan, I live and breathe to see Arsenal win. And I'm not entitled to say winning the Champions League or winning the Premier League. Just winning games, beating the teams that we're supposed to be beating because 1, we're a bigger club, and 2, we spend more money than them. 3, we have better quality of players. But yeah, IG, I totally see where you're coming from.
Stan, did you want to say something?
Well, going back to the original point, it was about fan power, right?
Yeah.
And funny, it was just yesterday. I don't know if you saw on the Twitter, Ray Parlour got himself in a little bit of hot water because he was on TalkSport, tweeted out a clip of him on the Alan Brazil show, and they were talking about Arsenal Fan TV, and Ray Parlour was saying, well, they get their success out of Arsenal failing. They should be called Arsenal Fail TV, And usually when I see things like that, I usually keep my opinions to myself. But yesterday, I was a little bit bored, and I thought I'd be a little bit cheeky here. all I did is I just retweeted it and put in the heading, Ray knows, with a thumbs up. That's all I did. And I've never really done anything like that before, to be provocative. But I got challenged on it. And basically they were saying that, for me to say something like that or agree with Ray Parlour makes me hypocritical, because I also go onto podcasts and talk about Arsenal. But as I tried to explain to him, I said, well, there are many different podcasts out there putting out on YouTube Arsenal content. There are some that I have alarm bells for, because when they come on, I never want to miss their content. There are others, it's just not for me. It's like saying, because I don't enjoy watching Coronation Street, therefore I'm not allowed to watch EastEnders. And the point that I'm trying to make is I see a lot of people tweeting about, if you believe this, or if you support the team in the way X, then you're not a real supporter. No one's got the right to tell you how to support the club. Not being able to go to the games every week, home or away, doesn't make you any less of a fan. If you can't afford a season ticket, doesn't make you any less of a fan. If you live in a different continent and you have to stream and you're watching it on a dodgy stream, doesn't make you any less of a fan. If you've got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and go down to the pub, it doesn't make you any less of a fan. The only thing is when you cross the line and you do what happened to Xhaka and you go onto social media and you start talking about people's families and you get personal. We don't want any of them. And for me, they're in a very, very small percentage. And that's why it kind of annoyed me when the club put out their statement quite recently, and they just basically refer to us as noise. I thought to myself, well, you're a little bit out of touch there, because there's a lot of people around the world that love this club. They make a lot of sacrifices for it, whether it is getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning, whether it is, hopping off of work or watching it at work when you should be working, or if it is you're spending money on a season ticket and you're buying your merchandise. Don't put us all into the same category, and don't tell other people what to watch in the internet, what fan platforms are good, what platforms are shit. Make up your own mind and make up your own choice and be happy.
Okay, yeah. Can we go back into the chat before we go into the next part we want to talk about? There's a comeback from James. He says, thanks for the warm wishes, guys. Great show so far. Thanks for that, James. And also about a comment about fan and player power. Fan and player power is a huge concern for modern football. Yes, it is. We must own our words and be responsible, especially on the social platform. And then we've got another one. Something happened to the club's DNA after the Champions League final. We deserved and should have won in 2006. I've seen us mediocre as we were now in the late 80s. Well, I'll go back to the 70s. So, yeah. So true, Stan.
Thank you.
And one more. Whoops. I gave up my season ticket in 2007 because young family. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, actually, the next one we wanted to talk about was, on Sunday, we're back in Premier League action. And we're going to be playing against Norwich, East Anglian team. 2016. Who remembers what happened in 2016?
What was in the news in 2016? What was going on?
Donald Trump.
We were still talking about Brexit, right?
Yeah, no.
Was it just the beginning, right? That was just the start, wasn't it?
Well, those of you not in the know, we beat Norwich City, and I had to look at some of the reruns or the on the YouTube just to remind myself what happened. And the first few seconds, the camera panned across the stadium, and there was signs saying, Arsene Wenger, thanks for the memories, but it's time to go. Even back then, fan power. What's going to happen on Sunday? Is it going to be repeats? IG.
I think the fans have got what they what they wanted. It will be a very huge turn up. I believe the stadium would be full, and most importantly, I think they would. I am excited to see Freddie manage. I'm
Yeah.
really excited. I want him to get those 3 points, and it's not for our to make our current situation better, to help us reach 20 points. No, I just want to see how exactly, like, people are talking about. We need a structure. We need to have a good tactical. Players need to play tactically better, and we need to get back to some sort of structure in our football. Attacking, defensively, we need to be more compact. I would love to see those points on the pitch. Yes, we've been talking about how on paper Emery is trying to do this, was trying to do this, that. I think, if I could add into it, I think reactionary football is what I would like to say, because if your opponent is trying to do something, you reactively change the tactics and formation, and you don't have your own style, if that's what the fans were actually talking about it. So I think I would see a lot of young players. I don't know, I feel like that way. I think it will be an integration of young players, a blend which we actually saw during the start of the season, where Reece Nelson, Joe Willock were integrated. So I think I could see something like that. But I just want to see defensively how we hold up. I think Norwich, I think Buendia, and I think Timo Pukki. Let's see if we can keep a clean sheet. I think there are lots of things that I'm looking forward to this game.
African Gooner, what are your thoughts on the Sunday's game against Norwich?
Well, first things first, I'm much more excited to watch the game than I was about 5-6 hours ago, obviously. I'm curious to see how Ljungberg sets up. I'm curious to see if Ozil starts. I'm curious to see if Saka starts. I'm curious to see if he's going to go full out attacking, or if, he's going to be defensive and play a much defensive team. We all know that obviously David Luiz is injured, so he's going to be out. It's going to be interesting to see if Tierney starts, considering he played on Thursday, right? And we know under Emery, he definitely wouldn't have started this weekend. But I'm curious to see what his in terms of his mindset, what is his best 11, and what kind of style he wants to play. But usually the feeling towards the game is, players or teams that haven't been playing well in a long time. Usually when it comes to Arsenal, that's when they show up and they end up playing well. So everyone was expecting a Pukki party this weekend. But you know what? I'm thinking it's going to be a Pepe party this weekend. I think Pepe, we're going to start seeing the best of him because of formation, because of tactics, and perhaps because of confidence. I think that now Emery is gone. I think shackles are off his shoulders or ankles, and now team is just going to be free flowing. At least that's my hope. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see.
Okay, Stan.
Well, our record on the road kind of speaks for itself this season. So it would just be really fantastic if we could actually go away from home and put on a really convincing performance. I don't care if he sets up the team to be a little bit defensive, because we are going away from home. But it would be so great to get 3 points away from home, and then we take that back for our first home game, with Freddie stepping into the manager's shoes for our first home game at the Emirates. That'd be great. That's what I'd like to see.
Okay. Can I get a prediction from you guys? Just a prediction. If you don't want to, you don't have to. IG, do you want to give me a prediction for Sunday? I know you don't like to give predictions. But...
2-1 to the Arsenal.
Okay. African Gooner?
Yeah, spot on. 2-1. And seeing Lacazette and Aubameyang scoring again and having that great connection.
Stand the man?
I think if all of the stars align for Freddie, I think it could be something like 3, maybe even 4-1. But I definitely think we won't keep a clean sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Last time into the chat. Let's have a look. Got one here. James Rowe again. Great Coronation Street, East End as an analogy stand. I agree fans must be free to make their own minds. I want us to play with style and identity and to fight for the shirt, as Freddie said. And the last one, 3-1 to the Arsenal. Guys, I'm going to call this Easytalk Bitesize to an end. But before I do, I want to say a big thank you. Finally, Stan the man.
Thanks, Alex. It was a pleasure to be here. And I've seen these two guys before. I've worked with them before on pod. So good to be here. Thanks for the chat.
No, it's okay. African Gooner, thank you very much for coming first time. I don't think it's going to be the last time you come on Cannon Point TV.
Thank you very much for having me on. And yeah, Dan, it's always a pleasure. Obviously, discussing our own opinions. We all are different agents. We all suffer through different emotions.
Okay.
Arsenal. So it's always great to respectfully discuss what we feel is the best way moving forward for Arsenal. So yeah, it was a pleasure.
Okay. And finally but not least, IG, aka Indian Gooner.
Well, it's always great to be here, and the best part is Stan is here. This is my second time with him, and African Guna, great pleasure, my friend. I think it was really great to have you. It was really great to share those points, and loved your points as well.
Absolutely. Anyhow, so if you've been wondering who or what you've been watching, you have been watching Cannon Fodder, the channel for Arsenal fans all over the world. And a hopeful win on Sunday with Freddie at the helm.